Friends, I'm back and it's only been 3 weeks, so that's an improvement on last time. I've got lots of stitchy progress to show you, and I'm hoping this video is a bit more organised, runs a little bit more smoothly. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. I just want to say thank you for anyone who's liked, commented or watched my last 2 videos. They have been a little bit rambly, but I've now got a notebook. Oh, Flosstube is itchy nose. I've now got a notebook with all of my sort of information, so hopefully I don't forget to tell you things. I hope you enjoy the new intro. I've just downloaded some editing software and decided I'd start with a little opening montage of where I live and some of the finished stitching pieces which you haven't seen while I was not doing Flosstubes. So the first thing I wanted to do was do a little intro. I realised I started those 2 videos as if you all knew me, as if several years hadn't passed since my last video. And obviously there's so many new people making and watching Flosstubes that most of you don't know who I am. So my name is Rachel. I live in Swindon in the UK, which is roughly 2 hours west of London, for those who don't know the UK at all. It's a small-ish town in standards of UK city living, but very close to a lot of rural environments, and I'm very lucky to have some spectacular views out of my window, which is where my new stitching spot is. I'm 35, yes, 35. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and I live with her and my husband. And I work within a marketing team within animal nutrition. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I hope you stay. I hope you stay and listen to more of my videos, and enjoy watching some more of my stitching. So where were we on stitching? I've worked on 4 projects since we last spoke. Some with quite a little bit of progress, and some with just a small amount. They've had a couple of stitching sessions, but progress is progress, and at the moment I'm still really enjoying my stitching. I'm stitching most days unless I'm very tired, so yeah, it's really good. So the first thing I've worked on is my Snow Queen, so I will insert a picture somewhere here for you to see what the picture looks like, and hopefully if I took one, a picture of where it was the last time you saw it, or as close to the last time you saw it as I can get anyway. So I'll do that here now. Okay, so then we have my progress. Oh, let me move these threads. Here. So this is where we are up to now. I've done, excuse me, I've filled in a lot of the white in these 2 sections, or all the white in these 2 sections. I've done a little bit here, and then I've also, if you can see, excuse the light, it's not the best, I've added in the beads into those sections. And oh, the beads just make it so magical. The sparkle they add, it's just, I've fallen in love with this piece so much over the last few weeks. I'm really enjoying it. I am stitching this using what I term the Jessie Marie 12-month method. So I've broken her down. She's a relatively small chart. No, she's a big chart, but in terms of my stitching, she's relatively small. She's 240 stitches high. So I have split those into 20 stitch segments, which I've marked on the pattern, and then each month I will stitch in that 20 stitch band. So this here is the top of the January band, and this here is the top of the February band. So I've got to come all the way across here. So I've got a lot still to do in February, but I've only stitched this on a couple of days this month. And yeah, it's a joy. I'm starting to use the Karen Water Lilies up here. Those silks are just stunning. And then I'm beading as I go. So hopefully, as the year progresses, we'll really see this progress, and hopefully I will have this finished by the end of the year. If I don't have it finished by the end of the year, I'm not gonna stress about it. Life happens, and with a 2-year-old, life very much happens. So we'll see where I get up to, but already I can see I'm going to get a lot more progress this year than I have in previous years. This is stitched on a Colour Cascade fabric, sadly, from Australia. Sadly, they're no longer available. They stopped trading last year, which is really sad because they were one of my favourite dyers. This is a piece of fabric called Sorcerer, and it's an opal, I believe 32 count, but because the dyeing process it shrunk, so it's probably sort of a 34 count. That has meant I've had some issues on bead placement where the beads are just a little bit too small for the space allocated, so I've had to remove 1 or 2 beads sort of in the snow, and then on these areas it's supposed to have 2 white beads on each of the sort of compass points, but I've only been able to fit 1 in the space because the long beads are just too long if I don't do that. I've stitched since on my last video just shy of 1,100 stitches on this, so yeah, I'm really pleased with that progress, and long may it continue. So the next project that I've worked on, before I move on to that, one of the things I love seeing from other people is how they sort and work with their floss, and this is my method. So I've bought some cheap plastic sorters, and I just create the lengths. It's essentially floss drops, but there's 20 flosses per plate, and I just I draw the symbols onto a piece of paper, and then I've taped them down. The reason I've done that is this is a long-term project, and Sharpies wear away on this type of plastic. It's the shiny slippy plastic, so Sharpies tend to sort of eventually rub off, so I do this method because it's more secure, and then I just check the symbol to the symbol on the chart, and then I pull the thread I need, and then for blends I have the same. So I take a length of each thread, each colour. It's a nice clear one. Oh, excuse me. Oh, hopefully it'll settle. So yeah, I take a length from each colour, and then when it comes to actually needing those two colours together, I pull one thread from each colour, and then it's quite quick and easy to generate the blend. So that's what I do with that, and I do enjoy at the moment with most of my projects working off the paper copy and highlighting old school analog method, and that is because I use Pattern Keeper for my heaven and earths, but there's something enjoyable sometimes about just being able to completely switch off from technology. I do listen to an audiobook while I'm stitching quite often, or watch Flosstube, but sometimes I just have the audiobook and I'm not looking at a screen, and I'm just focusing on what I'm doing, and there's a simple pleasure in being able to just highlight as I go. So yeah, I do enjoy that at the moment. So my next project I have worked on, and this has seen the most progress in that 3 weeks, is Sunshine. Oh, sorry, let me pause a second. I'm going to show it you here what it'll look like in the end, and I will also show you here where I was last time you saw it. Okay, and then there is my progress. I will get used to this editing malarkey, and this has seen quite a lot of progress. I think I had like 7 colours done. I've now only got 4.5 colours left to go. So I have, and even one of those in this light looks like it's already done, which is the highlight on his beak, the white in his body, but they at this distance look like they're already stitched, and then I've got 2 yellows, a blue, a green and a brown, and one of those yellows I've already started in this sunflower. So this yellow here, this lighter yellow, I've got to add to the other sunflowers, so that's already been started, and it's already been done in his beak as well. So yeah, I've got 1 dark yellow, 1 lighter brown, and then a darker green, and that's it, and then a bit of back stitching, which to be honest he really doesn't need. He looks fabulous at the moment. This is stitched 2/2 on 28 count speckled even weave that came in the kit. I buy the even weave kits for Rendale Designs, and I use all the kitted floss, and I have stitched on this one 1628 stitches, and if you wonder how I count my stitches when I highlight pen and paper, I use a habit tracker app. It's a really simple app. It's not designed for stitching, but I'm finding it really useful. So I can just set all my projects in as a habit I want to have, and then I can tick off when I've done it, and you can set whether you want it to be measured in hours, or in my case I've said stitches per day, and I just type in the stitches, and when I'm highlighting, I highlight what I'm working on first, and then in a yellow, and then I go over it in a blue after I've finished it, and when I do that, as I'm highlighting it the second time, I count through the stitches I've completed, and so yeah, that's how I do it, and then I add them up after each thread, and then yeah, I add it in the tracker. So I've then been able to use the tracker to add those all up. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. So the next 2 projects that I've been working on are, I've had a lot less progress, and that is because I've only had one of them I've only done 1 day, and one of them I've only done 2 days, where I've actually stitched on them, and I've stitched on them for an hour to 2 hours or so. So the first one, I will show a picture here, what it will look like in the end. And I will show a picture now of where it was last time you saw it, or as close as I can find. And then here is where we are up to now. This is my knitting Santa, or it's the Prairie Schooler Santa 2007, but I call it the knitting Santa because that is what this Santa is doing. This will be a gift for my mum, who has Santas only on her Christmas tree. And I've done like some small bits like the green in his hat. I've then outlined his bag, and this bag too, and I've started on the green here, and my aim is to finish the stitching details up here, and then there's a stocking that will be here, and then I'll just have fill-in to do, and I can do those sort of, sorry, I just needed to focus, I can do those fill-in details whenever I've got a spare 5 minutes or I'm feeling a bit tired. It will be mindless stitching, so when I'm watching the telly or anything like that, I just pick it up, run a couple of threads in, and this will be finished in no time. So this is stitched 1/1 on 20 count wheat Ada by Fibre on a Whim. It's used that I'm using the cord for DMCs, and yeah, he is looking so cute. I really need to stitch his eye in. Every time I pick it up, I'm like, he looks a bit weird. Why is his face look strange? And then I realise it's because his face is finished apart from an eye. And then I think I'll stitch that in this time, and then I do some stitching and I forget to put the eye in every time I have this dark grey brown on my needle. So yeah, I really need to do that. But he's looking great. I love him. And the final project I have worked on is, I haven't taken this one out the frame because the wrapping of it just takes so long. So yeah, this is my So Many Books, So Little Time. I will show it here where you saw it last time, or as close to, and here where you saw it, what it'll look like in the end. I will get better at this, I promise. Stick with me. I'll try my best. So what I've done is I've done some stitching over here in the sky. So yeah, I've basically brought that sky right over to where it joins the brickwork here. I've only managed 232 stitches since the last video, but that's 232 stitches less to do overall. This is stitched 1/1 on antique white Lugana with the call for DMC threads. So yeah, I have some small progress. So yeah, it's all looking really, really good. Oh, I've just found a needle with some thread on. Let's not lose that. What else do I wanted to say. So I've had some haul since my last video, one of which is wrapped up in here, and one of which I've been using for my sunshine project, and they are nerd tubes. I'd heard a lot about them, and I was getting some hand fatigue from holding Q-snaps. This one isn't too bad. It's the 8. This is an 8x8, I believe, possibly even a 6x6, but I think this is the 8x8. But I was using the 11x11 for sunshine, and I had an 11x11 that I was using with my So Many Books, and just the width of them is quite bulky on your hands, and then when, especially with the So Many Books, adding in the fabric bulk on top of that, it was quite a lot, and I have arthritis in my hands, so it was causing me a little bit of hand fatigue. So I decided, I'd heard a lot of good things about these on Facebook. I decided to give them a go, and so far, oh my god, I love them. In fact, I love them so much I've bought 2 more. So this size is perfect for sunshine, so it'll be great for all my Rendales that I've got, because they're all the 26 by 26, and this is 28 by 25. But I wanted a second one to use with my so many books. So this is the, can't remember what size this one is. This is the 220 one. So this is the equivalent to the 8-inch, and this is the equivalent to the 11-inch, but they're rectangular, not fully square. And yeah, I wanted the bigger size for my Heaven and Earth, so they should be arriving next week, along with some threads that for a new start, but I will tell you that on my next video. The reason I'm doing this video today, it's going to be a shorter video, is because I want to get closer to the start of the month, just because with the tracker I'm using on my phone, it's a lot easier to get like stitch counts and things on a per monthly basis. Yeah, that'll be really nice to do that. So this is going to be a 3-week video, and then I hopefully do another one in around 3 weeks, which will be towards the end of February, early March, and then that should then be able to get me into a monthly stitching video, which will be really, really good. So yeah, that is all I've been working on. Sorry, I thought I heard my cat and thought she was about to jump up and say hello, but no, she's run off somewhere. So yeah, that's all my stitching update. So yeah, in my last video I had been about to take part in a panto where I was acting, and that went really, really well. It was exhausting, but I thoroughly enjoyed getting back onto the stage, and it's nice to have my stitching back and my amateur dramatics back, and enjoy a bit of me time that I loved before I became a mum. And I'm not just mum, I get to have my hobbies and my enjoyment back now that she's a little bit older, and a little bit less demanding on the time, although still very demanding. So yeah, I'll put some pictures towards the end, just a little montage of photos, so you can see the fun that we had with that. So that's it. So if you want to see more of my videos, please like, subscribe, leave me a comment. I'll do my best to reply, to like, and if you follow me on Instagram, it's Rachel X Stitch, the same as my YouTube channel, then I'd love to interact with you that way as well. I'm trying to find new stitchers and interact as much as I can, but yeah, so please do, I'd appreciate it. So enjoy the little montage. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.